Dual mode engaged. Autopilot standing by.
Okay, so it's going to be Adventure Crystron versus Fiendsmith Valmonika. I kind of know what this deck does because we've played in the past, but this is going to be at the sneak peek at the premiere before the official release of the set of Supreme Darkness, and I wasn't sure if I was going to play at Adventure Crystron because I wasn't able to get the tuners in time. But then out of nowhere, this one guy had all threes and he lent them to me. So, oh, that's awesome! So I had my deck ready just in case I was able to get everything, but I had a backup with Adventure Synchron. So he wins the dice roll and he does his Fiendsmith stuff. So now it's typical for any like Fiendsmith variant where sometimes you either draw the Fiendsmith engine with the supporting engine, like Fiendsmith Yugioh, right? But sometimes you just draw one or the other, like you just draw Fiendsmith and hand traps. And it looks like that's what happened here. He just makes Desiree and passes with the set. I draw for turn. I see that I have Tear Top, and Tear Top is an insane card for the deck because it allows you to bridge whatever it is that you're missing. If you're missing Crystron, then you dump Smyger. If you're missing Adventure, you dump Enchantress, which is insanely good. So right here, all I'm trying to do is just try to see what he interacts with. Like I'm assuming that set is an imperm. So okay, I know that there's an imperm. I know that there's a Desiree negate. You can negate up to 5 things. So I'm trying to make sure that I can force it out without having to commit all of my resources, because then I can't pivot, right? So then I just go with Chirpin. He lets it resolve. I extend Enchantress, get me the right, and then I go right, and then he just lets it resolve. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Okay, it resolved. Now that means I can get access to my Griffin and possibly get the bounce. So I'm gonna be forcing a few things now because of Griffin and the bounce, which is what I like about implementing this engine with Crystron, because it doesn't really affect it. And right here, this is where he's like, "What the hell are you playing?" He has no clue how to play against his deck, which is a good thing on my part. I forget to send the right to the graveyard. So then I add the Draco back. And this is one of the issues I found with the deck itself is we can establish a board, but I wanted to get or have something to do going second, like spot removal. Like Corian Gandrax is okay, I guess, but if I can't bait that Desiree with anything else, like he's just gonna save his Desiree negate for my Corian Gandrax, and this is gonna be pretty bad. Like so what my aim is like get rid of the link that revives the Agunde and set up a board and sequence my way on his turn. So that's basically what I'm trying to do here. But along the way, I'm trying to see if he makes a misplay, right? If maybe he imperms. He Valors something that he wasn't supposed to, or stuff like that, right?
So if you activate a card or effects, I can chain that and
he's just reading Tristalos. The name is so weird. I'm so used to calling it Tristalos, but it's Tristaros. It's rather odd. But yeah, so he's just reading it, making sure he knows what the deck does. Now I'm just trying to find a way to get more resources on board. So the moment he negates my Griffin, I'm like, okay, so I think I have to pivot into an SP line to try to bait the Desiree, right? So then I can later on try to go for a Corian Gandrax line, or go for.
I don't know.
Actually, I think mid-sequence, because I was so used to playing with the Navy guy, I forgot that I don't have him in my extra deck. I was like, oh my god! So then, by the time I found out that I didn't have it, I was like, oh, okay, I can't go back. So then now I'm just pivoting into the initial play. Okay, so let's just see if we can set up our board and just pick his board apart with a trap, right? Like synchro with my C-Tree or synchro with my Quandax, who try to nuke his board, and then hopefully that's enough. Cause like I can't really pick his board apart. I can't target a Desiree, and the moment I pose any threat, he just negates with Desiree. So it was a bit odd. So right here I'm just sequencing off, Just trying to see if he bites, and he's just not using that Desiree.
Chain 2 to revive a crystron from banished to grave.
What does that one do?
That dumps 2.
Okay.
Crystron cards.
Sure.
Then this is where I swarm him. I'm surprised I got this far, but the turtle is so cool. Its effect comes up so often. On this day, I was using, it was overperforming for sure. It was just like part of your end board, but like its utility factor was pretty good. Right here, this is where you get surprised, and then the moment he said hold on, is when I read, oh, he probably has Nibiru. I was like, because that's probably why he's holding on to his Desiree, right? Because he wants to be able to make sure that he can negate the Omni that prevents the Nibiru from being negated, right? So that's what it came down to. So I was like, okay, well, at least if I do this way, I still have tactics in my hand. So he wasn't biting with any monster hand traps, so I wasn't able to use tactics. Because otherwise I would have just taken his Desiree and attacked for game, you know? But yeah, he just wasn't biting, so that tactics was pretty much dead. But I figured that I'll just continue with the game plan, just try to set up my board, and if he does div me, then I can just go tactics and then hopefully draw into something, and basically, because he bricked, right? So all he has is non-engine, so he needs to top deck into engine to even play. So I was like, okay, I should be fine, because then I have the trap anyways. I hard drew the cluster, so I'll have cluster at the very least with the draw 2 that I'll get off the tactics, or just look at his hand and rip a key card that I feel like, okay, well, maybe I can just take this because he might need it for the following turn. So then this is where I was like, okay, fair enough. I attempt to chain. And he drops the nib. He drops the nib in response to my SP. I was like, oh, that's so bad. So I was kind of expecting this because of the subtle tell, but then I was like, okay, it's fine. Hopefully we can stay in this. So then we go tactics, draw 2. I draw into, what do I draw into? I draw into Theisfern, and what else? Oh, what's that? I forgot that other card. So I go turtle. So I was like, okay, so at the very least, I have cluster, and I have access to my Tristaros, which is pretty damn good, because that means it gives me a form of interaction, whether it can be a dragster or it can be the crystron to it can be a Lesk, the new crystron synchro, to allow my cluster to pop too. So I just set 2 and passed, and I'm like, okay, we should be fine. So he draws for turn, and I'm like, okay, hopefully this is enough. Just don't draw engine, and that should be okay.
No, this only protects the quick monster.
I'll go Druid.
Yeah, just asking if he has Druid. I was like, oh, Druid is annoying, because he can just go battle phase attack over my guys, and he goes battle phase. And right here, I messed up, because remember, I'm new with the deck still. Like I had like a bit of a blank recall here. I thought the trap was the one that protected my crystals from being destroyed once. So I flip it, thinking that, okay, no, yeah, I can protect my guy from being destroyed, and then, you know, but it was the wrong one. It's a spell. It's inclusion. So right here, I'm forced to use droplets to keep my board presence. Otherwise, I'm just completely lost. So then he attacks into the 2 stars for 750. Main phase 2, he goes into SP. Druid tries to send. And this is where he tries to chain SP, and I tell him, oh, my crystron cards cannot be banished by my opponent. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. So then I go resolve for this and go, because it's main phase 2, so I'm trying to recur resources here. I think that I need to get back inclusion, and I forget that Tristaros doesn't banish the materials. I remember later in the game, but just keep in mind that those materials should not be banished. That's C3 that does that, but yeah, I completely forgot about that. That's why you see them banished. Yeah, so then when he summons those 2, he's thinking on chaining SP, but he's like, nah, I'll just let them go. So I return my. That's the cool thing about the trap. It recycles your synchros, which is really, really good. And he goes Requiem, he goes Lacrima will dump, and then Graver, but he's already used Engraver, so I'm not sure what I'm scared of here. and like, and if you saw the deck profile, I show you how you can go for game the following turn. So like if you can't finish me here or establish it in the same board, then we're able to OTK.
The practicality of it.
Yeah, this is where I'm letting them know that I was getting the cards confused and what they did. So just be kind, please be kind. And then he just scoops. Because he just couldn't do anything. Because I could just kill him next turn
Dual mode engaged.
with that Chambara.
Autopilot standing by.
Okay, so now we're in game 2. And he starts again. I forgot what my hand was. I'm not sure if I opened any hand traps. Yeah, I think I opened 1. But I'm not too certain on what to negate versus this matchup. Like, I know how to interact with the Fiendsmith cards, but like not with the valmonika cards. Like, yeah, that's like, yeah, I have little to no insight of what this archetype does. So I was like, okay, well, I'm along for the ride. I might as well just use my imperm as a breaker, unless he does something that I feel like, okay, this is where I have to interact. So I'll just drop the imperm here. So then he's sequencing off. And I'm like, in the past, usually this deck is just basically Desiree Turbo and hand traps. Usually with like the link that copies its own archetype trap, because they have a trap that pops one of your monsters and then he can pop a back row. So he can do that twice basically. So like that's all I know from facing this deck in the past. That he establishes the trap and he has a small unchained engine as well, where he goes for a Soul of Rage to link with my card. So that's like the main things I know about this deck. Soul of Rage link with my monster and SP banish, the Desiree blanket negates, and the trap that pops a monster and pops a back row. He uses that twice. So that's all I know for this deck. And then I'm like, okay, go for it. So he's gonna do like a reveal top 3, and so he adds a valmonika card, and he's link summoning here. And I see a Baguska. I was like, what the hell, Baguska? And he goes for Nightmare Griffin. I was like, oh, I was so glad I kept that imperm. Can you imagine if I didn't have that imperm? Oh, I would need to top deck something to freaking deal with it, because otherwise I'm just cooked. Like he's not giving me any link zones. I mean, I could make Cherubini and make my guys link, but that will just make it a lot more difficult, you know. So but I see that I have inclusion. I have inclusion Smiger, and I draw into what I draw into. What is that? I imperm the Griffin right away, because you know, just right away. So right now, all that I know of is that he has potentially the trap that pops a monster and pops a back row, and he has a trap that reborns. So I know that he can do the whole link with my monster and SP banish type of thing. So I'm trying to be careful here to see where I can go. Like my hand is okay. So I try to do a next level play here and make him like use an interaction on this enchantment search, because I think I already have a right in hand. Yeah, I think I already did. But this is like I forgot what my thought process was. I think what was I doing? I can't remember what it was. I think I was just trying to bait and bait in Ash, because I had inclusion and I needed to make sure that inclusion resolved. I think that's what I think that's what it was. But he didn't bite and he didn't have Ash. I was like, okay, it's fair enough. That seems fine. So all he has is like spot removal. So that's pretty devastating for any type of synchro deck, because you need those resources to synchro into your boss monsters. So then I go Fafnir, summon itself, pop itself, summon Salvatore, and then this is why I summon. I mean, I dumped the Thicefern and I dumped the turtle. Like the turtle was just overperforming, man. It's just so cool. That effect is like. It was the intention, yeah, but it just surprised me of how much I utilized it. I was like, oh wow, this is cool.
Is this special summon itself? I'll go effect to copy the trap.
And this is where I'm thinking, like, like it feels like the deck is lacking some sort of spot removal apart from like crystron cards. Like I know I can go SP, but like I feel like I want more like crystron or machine type synchros that can attempt to crack a board that isn't just Korangandra. Like I want because Korangandra can't even get rid of back row. It's only monsters, which is a bit of an issue. So I don't know. I'm not sure. Like that's what I'm trying to solve, which is why I make the black rows to ensure that when they try to play past my board and I get overwhelmed, I could just nuke. And like at this point, I think time is winding down, and I'm just sequencing off, and I see that he's lower than life, and I'm still trying to see like what I can do, because there is a potential way where he can misplay. So so far he's doing everything correctly, and he goes SP, banish the token, and he's like, okay, what has a great, but he's looking for the turtle, because the turtle is the one that's been doing the most work sometimes.
This doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it just banishes the purple one, I think. Yeah, but I still have inclusion summon. I still have the ability to, yeah, and then time is called, and I just take it 2-0. Either way, GG Christian. Damn, the deck's a lot of fun, bro. The deck's a lot of fun.